Take a look. This is the diary of Alfred Rosenberg, the chief ideologue of Nazism, recently found in the United States. It was discovered that an American military prosecutor, Robert Kempner, stole it directly from the Nuremberg trials. But why? The diary remained with him and then in an FBI safe for a total of over 70 years. According to researchers, it contains previously unknown facts. Rosenberg describes his conversations with Hitler, shares valuable data about the Holocaust, and praises German occultism, calling it the religious faith of the true Aryans. Nazism is based on a belief in the occult, as history has shown. This is Eric Kurlander, author of the book Hitler's Monsters. He presents evidence confirming that Hitler genuinely believed in legends about magical transformations of people into vampires, wolves, and supernatural entities. Nazism is a paranoid, ultra-aggressive ideology supported by occultists. Unique archival footage, 1932. Hitler travels from Munich to Dresden, Leipzig, and Berlin, where he delivers a campaign speech. However, according to historians, there is a real threat of him being ousted from the political arena during these days. The Nazis have conceded the majority of seats in parliament to the communists. Eva Braun, his lover, attempted suicide. Everything is going wrong. According to reports, Hitler seeks advice from an old friend, the astrologer and parapsychologist Erich Jan Hanussen. Hanussen discovers that Hitler is under a curse. It could be the work of political opponents or spurned admirers, or perhaps a spontaneous outburst of anger. As researchers write, Hanussen tells Hitler that he knows how to eliminate the dark astral spot in his horoscope. Hanussen personally travels to Hitler's hometown to dig up the root of a mandrake plant in its vicinity. The mandrake is a mystical plant, considered the king of the plant world. On your screens is the root of this magical plant, which often resembles a human figure. The mandrake is mentioned in ancient Egyptian papyri as the devil's apple, or the seed of an evil spirit. In Germany, the mandrake root is still used as a household deity, Alrunes. There are many legends surrounding the mandrake. One of them says that the plant's root emits a piercing scream when pulled from the ground. Only the initiated know how to protect themselves from the death that follows the screaming mandrake. According to the diary entry, Erich Jan Hanussen returns to Berlin on January 1st, 1933. He reports that the curse has been lifted, and Hitler's path to power is now clear. Of course, this could be considered a coincidence, but that is exactly what happened. Precisely 30 days later, Hitler becomes chancellor. A month later, he becomes the dictator of the new Nazi state. And yet another month passes, and Erich Jan Hanussen is killed by unknown assailants in a forest near Berlin. According to one version, he is shot by SA stormtroopers after they discover that Hanussen is hiding his Jewish heritage. Another version suggests that, with Hitler's rise to power, he decided to eliminate unnecessary witnesses who could inadvertently expose his occult interests. Take a look at the astrological horoscopes of the NSDAP and Adolf Hitler published in German newspapers and magazines in the early 1930s. According to these horoscopes, Germany was under the influence of fiery occult forces that would reach their peak in 1940. Mystics close to the Führer predicted great success and longevity for him and his party. This was explained by the fact that Jupiter, a unique planet capable of uniting large masses of people by combining incompatible elements of fire, water, and air, had replaced the moon on the cosmic pedestal. According to German astrologers, the moon era that ended in the early 1930s was associated with the dominance of a crude and lazy majority. Turkic and Jewish peoples determined European politics and culture, weakening the native Aryan population. The new era of Jupiter, according to occultists, was supposed to revive aristocratic dynasties filled with Aryan wisdom. Only they were supposedly capable of leading the West out of a prolonged political and cultural crisis. According to documentary evidence, even before Hitler's rise to power, the National Socialists actively searched for the legendary Shambhala and the mysterious Agart to obtain secret knowledge that would allow them to achieve world domination. Secret expeditions were sent to the Himalayas. With the Nazis' rise to power, there was an opportunity to equip the expeditions with modern equipment, expand their teams, and seriously engage in mountain development. It is known that all excavations in the Third Reich were carried out under the control of the Ahnenerbe Institute, and its scientists attempted to prove that the Germanic civilization was older than even the Egyptian one. Tibet was considered one of the places where traces of ancient Germans, Aryans, could be preserved. Mountain development inherently involves archaeology and the like. In other words, they didn't waste money on nonsense. Take a look at this statue of an Iron Man with a swastika on his chest, brought to Germany from Nepal by Ahnenerbe employees. The original disappeared without a trace at the end of the war. It is known that the statue was carved in the 11th century from a piece of meteorite and dedicated to the Buddhist deity Vaishravana. According to researchers, the Iron Man was considered one of the main keys to the underground world. According to legend, if an ancient map manuscript is placed under it, a beam of light from the statue will show where to go, and in the designated place, the god Vaishravana will open a portal to the underground country, where knowledge of the universe is hidden. It sounds like science fiction. However, several independent experts wonder how it came to be that when Germany was left by many world-renowned scientists, when traditional scientific schools ceased to function, and when the country seemingly had no source of technical innovations, the opposite happened. Nazi Germany surpassed everyone and created cutting-edge weaponry, unique military archival footage. This is the Messerschmitt 163. According to documentary evidence, this dwarf jet interceptor was the first in history to break the speed barrier of 1,000 kilometers per hour. It effectively destroyed Anglo-Saxon aviation, instilling superstitious fear in British and American pilots. This is the Messerschmitt 262, the world's first serial turbojet aircraft capable of vertical ascent. Additionally, its engines ran not on aviation gasoline, but on a simpler fuel, diesel. This is also a revolutionary model of a submarine from the 21st series. Its super strong steel hull was covered with rubber, making it difficult for our ship's hydrophones to detect it. It had 6 torpedo tubes, 4 20mm automatic cannons that automatically retracted into the cabin when submerged, a desalination plant, a hot water shower, a refrigerator, and an air conditioning system. It operated on the principle of modern hybrid cars, where an internal combustion engine is used in conjunction with an electric motor. Take a look at these miraculously preserved top-secret footage, where an experimental unmanned prototype of a space bomber is launched into the air. The ultimate goal is to bomb the USSR from an altitude of almost 300 kilometers. This advanced rocket technology and the testing of unusual flying machines in the form of discs with truncated cones and drop-shaped cabins still shock researchers. Germany was a leader in many fields, and its scientific and technical achievements were absolutely indisputable. But how did they achieve it? Present day, the capital of Nepal, Kathmandu. On your screens is the famous Swayambhunath Temple, built in the 6th century BCE. According to documentary evidence, during the war, the Nazis hired hundreds of local residents to dig tunnels at the foot of the mountain where the temple stands. The Germans were convinced they had found an entrance to the mythical underground kingdom where an ancient race ruled the fate of humanity. In the legends of the Asian peoples, this spiritual center of the world is called Agart, meaning invulnerable. It is described by the ancients as an island in the middle of a sea of nectar, where a fountain of immortality gushes forth. A sip of its elixir allows a person to attain eternal life. It is also interesting that ancient legends tell of thousands of Agart's mirror doors. Each door symbolizes a particular year. By entering, a person is transported back in time. It is known that throughout the war, Himmler, with Hitler's approval, sent several secret expeditions to the Himalayas. The desire to become immortal, turn back time, and rule the world, all of this captivated the leadership of the Third Reich. An exclusive interview from the USA. The Nazis considered the Kronos project fundamental in creating a weapon of retribution. Kronos is the Greek name for the ancient Roman god Saturn, the god of time. Take a look at one of the found maps of the passage to the underground kingdom of Agart. According to researchers, it was used by the SS Black Eagle expedition, which was overseen by Himmler himself. Moreover, according to documentary evidence, there was a constant radio exchange between Tibetan occultists and the Führer. Scientists from the Ahnenerbe Research Institute came to the incredible conclusion that in the region of Tibet, it is possible to establish a telepathic connection with extraterrestrial civilizations from the constellation Orion. Is this the product of their rich imagination? Or did their connection with higher unknown forces indeed help the Nazis improve their tanks, planes, submarines, small arms, and explosives?